Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm giggling because I can't hear the music on this side. So when my avatar's in there and it disappears, I go over to YouTube live to make sure music is coming out and is it the right song or the song that I want from the YouTube library. That's where I get my music. That song I think is pretty cool too. It's called Poisoned Rose by Akash Gandhi. And they have a real kind of neat, quick, I think, Arabic beat. But it's very beautiful too. Anyway, and I thought that would be kind of fitting maybe for the title of this Native woman won $400,000 from an abuse settlement and then vanishes. It's just, you know what I mean? That's just so sad. So, like last night, like I said, I've been uh, finding some stories in my email under People True Crime that really strike a chord with me. So, I'll say hi to all of you. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Sherry. Wild Angels Bucket List Adventures. Good to see me. Good to see you. I had fun on your show last week. And then that Hormexer guy came up and just was convinced I was Layla Lollipop. I guess some stripper he met and ended up with. Just intense. So no matter what I said, he didn't believe that it wasn't me. But he was drunk too, and he admitted to that. Hi, Sweet Misery. Hi, Red Moss. Hi, Lunch Lady. Hi, Kessie Thompson. Hi, Sean B. Hi, Art Ghost Show. She's got her little tree going on. I usually wait till December to have anything like that. And hi, Angel Loader, a joy seeker. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello, everybody. I know in a past live you discussed Susan Smith's case. Awesome, no parole, keep her in prison. Oh, she didn't get out? Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. She did not get out. Well, her husband back then, right, in the 80s or whatever it was, said he was going to do everything he could to keep her in. I did do a program on that, so we should discuss that. And I don't know if anything came up in my email about that. Sherry says I didn't know who he was till girls told me later. Yeah. Hi, Demetrius. And hi, Mary Jane Doe. Hi, everybody. Um, so yeah, Mary Jane, you probably saw my response to you in comments. That woman, Hannah, that was missing at some point after she landed at the LAX, in Los Angeles airport. That's where she's missing from, not New York, because she didn't catch her next flight. But somebody came in and told me, and now I can't remember who, that her ex-boyfriend maybe did did get on the connecting flight. So maybe this isn't a stranger kind of situation, right? Maybe this really has to do with her ex or her boyfriend or whatever. Hi, I can't see the screen good. Okay, am I crackling? I should always ask that. Not yet anyway. I guess I'm okay. Boy, you guys, it is so cold here. Look at this. I have an actual turtleneck on. I had my heat on in here, trying to warm up the place before I started. I mean, it just gets so cold. And as most of you have heard, we had a bomb cyclone. I've never heard of one before. And I found out today on Live Now on Fox what it is. And it's basically the atmospheric river makes a lot of wind and snow. In Northern California today, as maybe a lot of you know, it snowed. I mean, we're talking a lot of snow, semi stuck on the side of the highway. But we got this weird thing called a bomb cyclone, and that is why everything was flickering last night. And I'm surprised I made it through my live. Literally surprised. Because once my live ended, the power would go off. Within 2 seconds, it would come all back on again. Half an hour later, off again. It did that probably about 4 to 6 times. And so the lights out here on the outside of the buildings at this apartment complex, pitch black. So a few people were pulling out their flashlights. We're lucky. There's 600,000 people without power and probably won't have power most of the week. So Seattle, which I'm 2 hours from, got hit really hard. And it showed this, looked like a hurricane coming in, right? But it's a cyclone, and it was huge. Hit the whole entire Northwest Pacific. Well, hi, Miranda Wright. Now, how come I can't remember who you are? You said long time no see, sexy bish. Oh, you were Yvonne 77. Oh, I haven't seen you in ages. How are you? Hello. Demetrius says nobody didn't notice I changed my name on YouTube, did they? Oh, the Demetrius channel. Some places got 3 to 5 inches of snow, Demetrius. Oh, it's so good to see you, Yvonne. It's been many months. Okay, so anyway, this bomb cyclone hit because it hit like a bomb, right? But it's a cyclone, not a hurricane. But they did say on the news the winds were hurricane force in some areas of Seattle and things like that. And as far as they know, I don't want to say only, right? But only 2 people have died. One poor woman was in her house and a tree hit it and she died. So, yeah. So she died, and then another person died. And maybe it's from trees, the second one, or wind. But, you know, we have a lot of trees over here, and when we get the wind. Now, today, our power's been fine, but it's been eerily still. And I know from being in a tornado and being raised in the Midwest, in Iowa, South Dakota area, that's a sign of a storm coming. And they said on Friday, we're going to have enough rain on Friday as we get in an entire month. And we get a lot of rain in 1 month. That's what they said. So here it is Wednesday. It's only 5:34 here. And yeah, we're expecting a lot of rain, more power outages. And I think I'm only about a half hour earlier than last night going live right now, but I wanted to go a little bit earlier so that, I wouldn't hit the real windy times. Um, so yeah. Yeah, the Demetrius channel is probably easier to type in than the DC channel. Well, maybe, might be easier for people to find Demetrius. Hoping you're okay. I saw you went in and had your tests done, the needles in your, have your blood drawn and everything. Hope everything is still going well for you. Miranda, right? Good. How you doing, hot stuff? You're so funny. I'm doing good. Um, it's like this. I don't drive. I've had a permit twice, right? Um, I could have a car and all of that, but I wanted to take a bus and walk and mostly ride my bike through these years. Um, it's kept me, pretty fit. Um, when you do that everywhere you go and stuff, and I'm doing more of that now, even though it's been kind of rainy. So I've been getting more exercise. And my, kids have been able to order some things that they've been wanting and needing for a little while, like, a decent game chair, computer chair, things like that that other people have. Because our trust fund thing was finally consolidated and this kind of deal. Um, so between that and um, staying in touch with my sisters in total remission. It's really shocking. She was 4-stage cancer. I don't think she'd be so lucky if this was, 20 years ago, but she had surgery and chemo and all this stuff. So the cancer's gone and she's feeling great. She just let me know that the other day when I texted her. We text a lot. And my mom seems to be doing okay. Um, she's a little bit depressed, but she's doing better. She had to up her med on that. She told me, I asked her if it was like, getting older or, she's 21 years older than me, and that's not that far behind for me. I want to know if this is like not getting tired sooner and not being able to do as much as she's used to, like painting entire houses on the outside and all that kind of stuff. Just your body slowly but surely wears down, and we got to keep it well as long as we can. Thanks everyone for being here. So Diane Ostertag. Oh, hi, I haven't seen you in a long time. I live in Iowa, and yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, especially right before a tornado hits, it gets eerily calm. The birds stop chirping, even. The trees are still. And the wind was so intense here last night that I have a big fake plant because I have so many cats and the kittens. I have to have fake plants or they'll dig in the dirt or something might be poisonous or whatever. I had a real flower pot out on the deck, but the kitties are they're just narrow in stature, and I feel like they might spat at each other, who knows, and then fall through the cracks out there. And I'm 3 stories up, you know what I mean? But eventually, they'll be allowed. But it knocked that plant over. And it was funny because the kitties were on the cat tree and they were watching the wind and everything. All of a sudden, I mean, it was kind of a boomish crash. It was like, down on the deck. And I just left it there because I knew it just get blown over again. And then today I picked it up. My rug outside my front door was rolled up from the wind, but it's stuck under part of a table. Yeah. I think I've seen you before, Diane Ostertag. Northwestern, Miranda Wright. I'm in Pacific North also, and it's clear sailing so far. Okay. Yeah, Sean B says hurricane force winds. That's what the lady said on the news thing. Because you can see it. So, like, when the hurricanes are coming in, right, on the Atlantic side that they all do, and they're swirling and they're big, right? They're huge. You can see that's what we have on our side. And the reporter guy on Live Now said, is this kind of a regular occurrence, or is this like every now and then? And the guy said it can happen every couple of years, but it's not an every year occurrence. And I've lived here since 1991. Never. I mean, for me so far, have I heard of one on the news or seen one? Now, we did, and I said this one other time, we had a tsunami warning. Like, I'm not even kidding. That's so weird. I'm a mile from the bay. I'm literally a mile from an ocean front, which is really nice, There's a lot of boats docked and this and that. But yeah, there was a tsunami warning, so we're all kind of watching for that, and then it never really happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, we had to watch for one, and they had to all the way down on the California coast too, I remember. But we didn't have a tsunami, but they had a lot of flooding, and I think that was 3 years ago. And I think it was 3 years ago when we had all that horrible flooding here. Literally 2 blocks from where I am, all the car dealerships are. Kid you not. I mean, I didn't even know about it because I was up here, my apartment, and my mom's husband saw it on the news, like CNN or something. And there was water over the windows. So we're not talking just above the tires, we're talking really deep water. And and one father got up at 4 a.m, knowing the roads would be bad, but he felt he needed to get to work. He was an Hispanic man that lived in the Sumas area, and Sumas got it real bad. Anyways, truck with him in it flooded away, and there was a GoFundMe, and it's really sad. He had like 5 children, and but schools were closed, and it was crazy flooding. Like, even in this town. I mean, when you're not even allowed to drive down a certain road, like when we needed to get some food, we had to go all the way around. But yeah. Now, the tornado I was in, I was 5 then. Hi, Jason B26. I've been going live now on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Good for you, Demetrius. Miranda, madam, you still are giving out too much personal financial business, LOL. I know, but everybody knows, and it was even being talked about on the internet, like I'm going to be rich soon. No, it's instead of getting my little trust fund every 3 months for like I did for the past, I think it was 6 years. Um, you know, my aunt and uncle, they were getting up in age and didn't want to do the executorship anymore, and asked us all We just wanted our lump sum. And frankly, I said yes. And the beneficiaries are my kids, and they got a chunk too. So, I mean, it's nice, but it's not the kind of money where, I didn't know how much I was going to get. It's not the amount of money where I'm set for life. Do you know what I mean? It's the kind of money where uh, if something happened, my son didn't get, SSI for whatever reason, or whatever, I'd have some money for rent for a few months or close to a year, but that's it. It goes so fast, because rent is so damn expensive. It's 2,254 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment. And this is, I'm not bragging, I'm stating. I bet we've been here since 2001, and it's the nicest in this town apartment because it has a pool. It used to have a tanning bed inside. It has a small little theater, and you get popcorn and places to put your drinks, and the screen's right there. And, and it's got a weight room. And a place where people used to be allowed, a room where people could have birthday parties and things like that, but they don't allow it anymore. Pretty much since the, C disease hit, they have to be more careful. But they do a lot here for kids. They hand out, candy and do costume prizes. And when the kids go back to school, they have a back to school barbecue. And when school's out, they have a barbecue. And they give things away, pencils and backpacks and water cup, things with lids. And then different little organizations come over here, like Head Start, right? Where you go to school before elementary school. Both of my kids were in Head Start. And the good dental practices and all kinds of things. So they do a lot here, and they really cater to families. Um, oh, that's really funny. I'm going to put this one up. Good Lord, woman, stop. There are freaks online. Diane, I live in Anamosa, Iowa. I never heard of Anamosa. My grandparents and where the tornado was in Akron. And Akron is like half an hour from Haywarden. And what are some of the other, oh God, Lake something. And anyway, but I was born in Vermilion, South Dakota, and that was 20 minutes from the border of Iowa where my grandparents were. So, and they're 20 minutes from Sioux City, and everyone's heard of Sioux City because that's where that huge ass jet came down, right? And that pilot saved a lot of people. What, wasn't it on fire or something? That was back in what, the 80s, 90s? Okay. Is this rapper? I'm going to put yours up. Ernie Shell said to stop giving out information. Listen, you dome woman. Oh my gosh. Well, I thought he was my friend. I mean, he was good to my son and everything, but you'll think bigger. Um but he wasn't really someone I could end up trusting having my back, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? But I stuck up for myself against being put on blast, on a creator's program where everyone was laughing at me behind my back, but to the world. And I said something about it because that's just who I am. That's who I am. And I've always stuck up for myself, and I always will. Don't say, shut up, don't say. Paper cut or paper cut. See now I'm going, rapper, be nice. No, Dolly didn't put me on blast or anything like that. It was Ernie's program. Lots of people know that. Jimmy's always been kind to me. And I mean, always. And I have nothing bad or negative to say about that guy. He's a hard worker. He's a nice person. And he really went out on a limb for me, you know? And Ernie is a nutsack, IMO. What does IMO mean? LMO is laugh my, LMAO is laugh my ass off. What is IMO? Right here. When you got into with his wife. Oh. Rapper is, I don't think this is rapper. Rappers, excuse me, never really cared much about the whole Dolly Vision thing over a year ago. Yes, you did, you know, in my opinion. Well, for one, I just stuck up for myself and she was demanding answers and I was told not to say anything, so I didn't. And people didn't like that. And then also, as far as I know, he's not married. At Papercut Tina Rapper, please stop. How are you, Rapper? How's your grandpa, honey? um, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll hit Papercut Tina and try to see who this is. Now, see, that's what I mean. Why does it do this? It says star comment, delete comment, put user in timeout, and ban user. It doesn't have on StreamYard. Oh my gosh, now I'm absolutely roasting because I've got this, look at this thick sweater I have on. All of a sudden I got really hot. And it's not hot flashes. Those days are over. I never went through that. Probably because I was on the depot shot while I went through menopause. But guess what? They said the depot shot can cause brain abnormalities. And no, I do not have one. Like tumors. I'm not kidding. Now, I was on it for 4 years. I had a shot in my arm alternating every 2 months for 4 years. And boy, it kept me from getting pregnant. Now, that was after my daughter was born, because I still could have gotten pregnant at 41 when I had her. You can check if he was a mod before, says Miranda Wright. It's Nicolina. No, Nicolina doesn't spell her name like this. You put Nick-Lena. No. My second guess is AK the Lego Man. No, he wouldn't do that. I really don't think he would. He was actually in here about a week ago and said hi, and he's always just been nice to me. I don't think he goes around trolling, much less me. But anyway, you guys, it's so weird to see my name. Oh, it's not even paper cut. Oh my God, rapper. Okay, that's rather foul. Look what it is. I thought it was paper cut. It's cunt. Let's just be real and say it. Well, you know, I've been called a lot of things. Just don't call me late to dinner. Now, I need to read this copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And let's get on with it here, folks. This is sad. I think it's sad. This Native woman won $400,000 from an abuse settlement. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what kind of abuse she sustained, anything, but then she vanishes, disappears. Okay. So I'm going to mute in case like an advertisement comes on. It's asking for an email. I have no idea why. No one's used this iPad but me. I keep my door locked, so I have some things to myself and some privacy. So I might have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to reboot, not reboot, but yeah, actually, yeah, reboot my iPad. Just a second here. Oh my gosh. Lily Lou, hi everyone. I was on the shot, the vaccination thing for the C. I have a tumor behind right eye, laying on the optic nerve. Oh man. Oh man. I am so sorry. That just sounds really scary and painful and everything. So many prayers to you, Lily Lou. Are you? You're not Lulu. You're not in Australia, I don't think. Prayers for her, you guys. Will you put some prayer hands for Lily Lou in? Can you imagine having a tumor laying on your optic nerve? I mean, you know, your face, your brain, it's all really serious. Hi, Defroggies. Not cool, especially if it's you, Rapper. PCT has always been kind to you. Yeah, Very scary. Whoever it is needs to stop. Well, I just kind of ignore it. Thanks, Sean B. Thank you. Thanks, you guys, for putting prayers in. I can't imagine. I mean, I was taking my old contacts out, and they were old. You're supposed to wear them 30 days, but I didn't have any others, and it ripped. And one got caught up in the upper, like under my eyelid, half of it. And I was digging and digging, and that was scary. You know, wow. I'm glad you're here. Let us know what happens, okay? What transpires if you want to keep sharing and all of that. And can they remove it? Are they going to remove it off your eye? I mean, okay, I'm going to mute. Oh my gosh, you guys. She's from the Tululip tribe near Seattle. I've been by the is it Tulalip? See, I've never known how to pronounce it. I think it's Tululip, but it might be Tulalip. Anyway, I've been by the casino, a few times when you're heading to a town out there or anything in the past. She was last seen on Fire Trail Road on the reservation. Okay, so let me see if I can find some news on it. Aww. Okay, this is Mary Ellen Johnson Davis of the Tulalip it's probably Tulalip in Washington. She disappeared in 2020. Her family is still waiting for answers. That's her, in the glasses, and I'm assuming that's her daughter. It's so sad. Um, so Okay, I'm not able to find a news thing on it yet, so I'll read this. Days before, does sound good, you guys? I'm new, says ADHD 7712. Hi, new person that's been in here many times. We love having you, and you're funny as heck. Hey, Peggy's here. Hi, Peggy. All right, so days before Thanksgiving in 2020, family members of Mary Ellen Johnson Davis received a call from her husband. Aw, thanks. A call from her husband. The family members did, said she had gone missing. The husband asked the family members to report her disappearance to police. But according to family members, he left the state and changed his telephone number. Okay, when I get done on here, of course, I have to keep looking at true crime and all this. And I've been really intrigued with cold cases lately. And we're talking 20 years, 30 years, 37 years, and these new investigators, right, come along with fresh eyes and open these cases. And honestly, they get it done. They find things that other people just sort of glossed over or ignored, or the DNA, right? The working with the DNA wasn't as advanced back then, and they're able to get convictions. So, you know, if that isn't beyond suspicious, I don't know what is. I'd like to know, it'd be interesting to find out if he took the money. He's married to her. Okay, so he leaves the state and changes his telephone number, the husband. Johnson, for the people that just came in, this woman right there in the glasses and the blue shirt is Mary Johnson Davis. And that's probably her daughter, right? Or one of them. She won a $400,000 settlement in 2020, and then she vanished. Johnson Davis was 39, a member of the Tulalip tribe near Seattle, Washington. Was last seen on Fire Trail Road on the Tulalip Reservation in Washington State on November 25, 2020, according to the FBI. Nearly 4 years on, there's little information on her whereabouts. Frustrated at the progress of the investigation, her sisters, Jerry Davis and Nona Bluin, set out to investigate her disappearance on their own. Their efforts are captured in Missing from Fire Trail Road, a documentary released on Friday, November 1st. I do have dreams about her every once in a while, but I don't think she's gone, Davis tells producers as she chokes up about her sister, and I do wish she'd come home. Chris Sutter, Tulalip Tribal Chief of Police, tells producers investigators are treating Johnson Davis's disappearance as an abduction homicide case. I know she's been stolen, says Deborah Parker, former vice chairwoman of the Tulalip tribe and an executive producer of the documentary. There's just something terribly wrong. She deserves for people to fight for her. Johnson Davis is one of thousands of missing Native women whose disappearance remains unsolved. 4 out of every 5 Native women remains unsolved. 4 out of every 5 Native women are victims of violence, according to statistics from the United States Department of Justice. More than 50% of Native women are victims of sexual violence. Native women are also more susceptible to violence from non-Native men, per the 2023 DOJ report. We've learned through doing research that some of the men in jail would say, you can go RAPE an Indian woman and you won't get caught. says Parker, whose native name is Sisialka. Good grief. Oh. As a child, Johnson Davis was removed from her family's home and put in the foster home of a non-native family, her sister Bluin says. Bluin and Johnson Davis were put in the same home where she alleges the sisters were sexually abused. Poor Mary, she did unspeakable things for that man, Bluin says of her sister. Johnson Davis fell into a path of addiction, she says, but the sisters won a lawsuit against Child Protective Services and the state of Washington, each receiving $400,000 for the psychological damage they endured. Wow. Okay, they both did. Both sisters did. Her husband stole her money, her settlement that we had received from the state, Bluin alleges. He put it into an account and didn't leave her nothing, and then he moved to California. Johnson Davis's husband is not named in the documentary, and people were unable to reach him. Tulalip Tribal Police Detective David Sally previously told people that he was a person of interest in her disappearance. Chief Sutter tells producers that he is aware of allegations of abuse against the husband, but says authorities do not have enough to detain him. That's ridiculous. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I've seen less than this in other cases. You know what I mean? Oh, I watch back my lives. I'm glad I do because I can see how bad it crackles now and then, and people let me know, and I reboot. Thank God it works right away. But I do a lot of hemming and hawing, don't I? I'm like, oh my God, and oh Lord. I can't help it, you guys. These stories are so intense. I just don't ever want anything horrific. I mean, none of us do to me or my families, you know? Um, so Johnson Davis's sisters and cousin also consider the possibility that she was killed by someone who was providing her with drugs. They suspect she may have been targeted because of the settlement she won. But without sufficient evidence pointing to either of these theories, her family remains without answers. I mean, you just gotta be kidding. The documentary explores how Johnson Davis's story that hits home for every Native woman. Either they are victims themselves or they are sisters, mothers, aunts, and nieces of the victims. In the search for answers for Johnson Davis's family, Parker also speaks of her own aunt, who was RAPED'd and beaten beyond recognition by a group of men. In the film, her sister stops her car where her aunt's alleged assault took place. Oh, crap. Damn it. Okay. Every time I drive by, I just think of how afraid she must have been, and although she lived another day, she never lived again. Missing from Fire Trail Road, directed by Sabrina Van Tassel, will be available for purchase on Amazon Prime Video, Google Play, Apple TV, Microsoft Movies, starting Friday, November 1st. Wow. If you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual abuse, text STRENGTH, capital STRENGTH, to the crisis text line at 741-741 to be connected to a certified crisis counselor. And of course, if you're experiencing domestic violence, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or go to thehotline.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline's available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. That's just, I don't know. Wow. So here's CNN basically saying shocking history of violence against Native women is a crisis we can stop. Ah, shoot. Unable to load the video. Darn. Gee. For too long in America, Native women and girls have gone missing without a trace, leaving families desperate for answers. Others have been found murdered, yet their cases remain unsolved. Hi, Mazzy Star. Hello. Tight-knit communities mourn, holding vigils for those they've lost. Police open cases but are not always able to resolve them. As the senior senators for states that are home to large Native communities, Nevada and Alaska, we've heard these same heartbreaking stories again and again. We're determined to do all we can to stop the violence against American Indians and Alaska Natives. Hi, Seymour Ignorance. No, I got it's called a wolf cut, and it's shorter and then longer and then longer, and I kept the sides, and I had the side shorter, and it's going to grow out in a really cute. I'm not letting anyone touch it again. I finally have some shape to it than just this square kind of whatever look I had. I told her I wanted the other day, the person I go to, Julia, I said, I just want an edgy, kind of young cut. And I think she gave it to me. She did a really good job. Yeah, so, okay. Take the shocking case of 22-year-old Savannah LaFontaine Graywind, a member of the Spirit Lake tribe, who in 2017 was murdered at 8 months pregnant by a neighbor plotting to kidnap her unborn child. This is what I read about like 5 days ago when I was covering her last week. Women who, you know, what was it called? Kidnapping fetuses. And then the other word, now I can't remember. But I read about this person. And then later her body, because they wanted, her unborn child. Later her body was found floating in a nearby lake, and her healthy daughter was found alive in the neighbor's home. In 1993, well, thanks, you guys. Well, thanks. I'm not afraid of a change. I'm always kind of evolving. I mean, even if you look back, when I was on other channels and things, I'm always kind of changing things up. All the ladies shaving their hair over election. You scared me. It looks great. You scared me for a second. Oh, no, she wanted to take the little shaver, and do her thing. And I said, I don't want the stubble. I don't want. And since we're talking about it again, I wanted her, in all honesty, to leave good couple inches right here. So it'd be more like a shag than a short wolf cut, be more like a shag, but she didn't. She I mean, I knew she was trimming, but to me, it felt like it was here, but then it ended up being here. And, what can you do? She's really nice. I tipped her $10. I usually tip $5 or 7. Tipped her 10. She really took her time. She listened. I showed her some pictures. What's up? Says Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. No, I haven't seen that, Seymour. People are shaving their heads? For why though? Wait, I agree, but I really did think an election issue. I didn't know people were doing that. I like it. It looks great. I was hoping there was an election issue behind it. I haven't heard of that. Thanks, you guys. I mean, look. I have a lot of hair. I really do. But, oh. Well, I didn't want Trump. I mean, everyone knows I'm a Democrat. I just did not want him. Um, but what can you do? Luckily, he'll just be in there 4 years. But getting all those other Republicans in there. And then just today, a thing came out about, oh, it was on the news. There's a transgender woman. I won't get into a big discussion here because YouTube probably doesn't like it. But, she was a man. Now she's a woman and she wants to use the woman's bathroom. And there's other people in that building in Congress that doesn't want to share the bathroom, they feel, with a man. But then the Democrats are looking at it like, oh, you're just bullying her. I don't think so. I mean, they're not all feeling that way, but the person that is feeling like this is the thing. When I went to a club in Montreal, I experienced my very first transvestite kind of thing in the 80s. And that's not transgender and that's not okay. But I saw him in the bathroom and it was a black man dressed as a woman, but I think it was transvestite. Anyway, I'm using the bathroom and right next to me, he was using the bathroom. And the thing that spoke to me the most or that scared me, kind of freaked me out, I just wanted to get out of the bathroom, is his feet, right? Instead of out, like when you're sitting on a toilet, they were in. So I knew he was standing up. Then I knew that what I was seeing really was a man, okay, in the 80s. And, this was this wasn't a fancy club, kind of a seedy-ish kind of, I don't know, it was clear back in the 80s, but it was in Montreal and it scared me. Now, would I be scared now? No. But I'm being honest, you guys, I don't know how comfortable I'd be knowing there's someone, do you know what I mean? That was the opposite sex of me using the bathroom while I am. And I'm probably going to regret saying this stuff, but my daughter came out and she was kind of looking at it, and I mean, I'm not against people wanting to be who they want to be. I'm not. And who they want to love. But that and young girls feeling comfortable in high schools and stuff, you guys, sharing their showers and everything with someone that is either in the middle of transgendering, it maybe isn't even fully a woman yet. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in that kind of situation. Typically do politics. I don't understand it. Do you understand politics? I do. No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm just being real. I could sit here and go, oh, I think it's fine. I don't know. I mean, I want to say I don't know because it doesn't bother me at all. Most women's bathrooms have stalls. No one should be peeking in them. Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, anyway, and that came up on the news today. They're going to be like voting on this bathroom issue in Congress now. Um, in 1993, 20-year-old Sophie Sergi from the village of Pitcairn Point, Alaska, flew to Fairbanks for an orthodontist appointment and never came back. Tragically, she was sexually assaulted, MURDERED, and left in a bathtub on campus. Her MURDER has remained unsolved for more than a quarter century, although recently a suspect in her death was arrested. Oh, well, good. Good. Hi, Super Kendall 100. It's been a long time. And you too, Genevieve Kelly. I don't like it. You don't like it either? Yeah, I mean, I just, so many unsolved. I hope she gets justice. I know. Super Kendall says, my opinion is that there are two genders, male and female. Anything else is a mental issue. Well, my feeling is this. Well, I was thinking about this and I even stated it to my daughter. I said, they knew it wasn't going to be easy transgendering into that. I mean, the transgendering isn't even easy. And uh, I guess my point is things aren't just going to fall into your lap the way you kind of are hoping and wanting them to always be. You know what I mean? But I'm by no means. I mean, it's just so different. In the 80s, there were a few, or or maybe there were more than a few actually, but they didn't feel they could come out or express their sexuality, right? I understand there's movements and everything's different now, but to me, it almost seems like, this is just my opinion, high school kids think it's cool to experience both sides, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just seems like it could possibly they be confusing themselves more or something. I mean, it's all the time. It's like 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds. It's around here. And I see it, and it's okay. It's their preference. But is the world going to sort of change for them? I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised the military has handled it as well as they have. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. No ill will behind your question. Oh, thank you. Tapping into the algorithms, though, because they rarely put you on my timeline. Yeah, I'd never ever want to be a man. Yeah, oh, I see. That's what you're saying, Genevieve. I do believe that one gets to be free to do what they want, but keep it away from kids. Yeah, I think it confuses kids. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not if you're like brought up with it or something, but yeah, yeah. And maybe we're just hearing about it more because, of the internet and everything. They were there then too, just behind closed doors, more back then. I know several transgender people who are in their 60s and 70s, says Defroggies. Yes. Hmm. All right. So, okay, so I was going to peek at something. What is this about, you guys? Watch police remove pieces of barricade at UCLA protest encampment. What are they protesting about? Police appear to fire rubber bullets at UCLA protesters. Okay, so what is this about? Oh, for crying out loud.
The past few minutes, this group of police officers has just, it looks like they're actually moving into the encampment as we speak. They're moving forward. You see the protesters have flashlights. They're shining in the police officers' faces. They have umbrellas, protection against pepper spray or tear gas. Yep, I'm seeing officers pulling aside this barricade that has been put up around the encampment.
Pro-Palestinian
they are throwing
protesters.
the pallets aside. They are clearly getting ready to move in. I've been hearing shouts from inside the encampment, hold the line, hold the line. Now, the police have given these encampment residents a long time to get out. They've said if you stay, you're liable for arrest, you might get hurt. They've given them a long time. Clearly, a large number of these protesters have decided to stay, and they will be arrested. These police officers now, you see them pushing at those barriers, trying to get into the encampment. They are going to be moving in, and we've got to assume they're going to be arresting the protesters that they find in there. This encampment has been here for a week.
You were right, Genevieve.
They were told earlier today that they should get out. They have been given time to get out. Many of these protesters have not gotten out. So the police now moving in. Can you see that huge board being lifted off of the barricade?
Oh my God.
So that these officers can come in. Here, I believe we've got an arrest. That looks like somebody has been arrested and is being taken out.
Some young girl with dark hair.
Screams from behind me from the pro-Palestinian protesters.
Oh my God.
Who do not like what they are seeing. Yep. So we've
Thank
got
you, Seymour.
the first Tom.
You're a redhead
did you see this person here? Yeah. Okay. I've just seen a flare go up.
Oh God, you guys!
I've just
Is
seen
this
somebody
live?
running. There are people running. Yep, the police are tearing down that barricade, Casey. They are going to be moving in. We saw the protesters reinforcing that barricade today, determined to stay.
Sad.
It has come to this now in the early hours of the morning here in Los Angeles. The police
Hi, Melissa.
are moving in. The police are moving in. Screams from behind me.
Thank you for your...
From behind me. The flashlights being shone in the eyes of those officers as they try to move in.
Thank you for your thoughts,
Now,
Melissa.
the protesters, of course, their demands, they wanted divestment. The college said that was never going to happen. The protesters said they were never going to leave. It was almost inevitable it was going to come to something like this. But UCLA, for a week now, has been trying to avoid a confrontation like this.
Oh, all week. You're home, Mary Jane?
Really in the background. That all changed last night when pro-Israel protesters attacked the camp, in a sense. There were scuffles, physical altercations. The governor today called for a much greater police response. The mayor called for a much greater police response. The university obviously agreed. We have seen dozens, hundreds of California Highway Patrol, LAPD, sheriff's officers on this campus today, and here they are in the early hours of the morning, moving into that encampment. We can see some tents now.
So this was yesterday?
Shaking as those officers move in. There are dozens of tents in there, dozens of tents, and I can't really guess how many people. The last time I looked over that wall, there were hundreds. They were told to get out. They were given time to get out. Unclear how many of them did get out. Clearly, a large number of them stayed. Large number of tents. That camp has been there for a while. And, I was told by a source that law enforcement was concerned about human waste in that camp. They were concerned that some of these protesters could have bear spray on them. So now we've just seen California Highway Patrol getting their batons ready.
Oh, God. Kids are going to get hurt.
They have zip ties on their waists as well. They have gas masks. They are ready to move in. Excuse me, please.
Yeah, clearly a very tense situation.
So we've seen the first... We've seen the first wave go in, Casey, waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah, stand by for me, Nick. We're gonna keep
bangs from behind us.
Bangs. Bangs might suggest measures.
Just fireworks, I believe. Just fireworks. Just fireworks.
No. You guys think that was fireworks? Yeah, no. And they said that don't rubber bullets make a noise, at least when they come out? I think those were the rubber bullets that were on the other fiddlesticks. Yeah, they ended real quick. Yes, they did. Okay, I'm going to try to get back to that. I could even find that. I got to hit the history. So early yesterday morning, it's only 6:40 p.m. here now, so this was probably yesterday. Ugh, can't I find it?
%80 of the world's largest companies already report exposure to climate risk.
"32 seconds. Police appear to fire rubber bullets at UCLA protesters." 32 seconds. Oh, brother. First a commercial.
So move back. For your safety. For your safety.
Oh my God. Why can't they protest? Okay, I thought protesting was allowed. Is it not allowed at colleges except for a certain amount of time? Yes. What if someone gets it in the eyeball or something and is blind? Rubber bullets, that's got to be worse than a paintball gun, right? My daughter's father did paintball gunning or whatever. Like, seriously, went on, tournaments and went outside of the state and had all the gear, and he still had some bruises here and there. Oh, Lord. Oh, wow. Prayer Seymour. Jeez. Sean B., you had to fix your internet. Genevieve, I hope I never get cancer. Me too. It runs. It runs on my mother's side, and heart disease on my mom and dad's side. Scary. Oh my God. Rubber bullets hurt bad. My deaf friend Marisol went through an issue and she was black and blue. That was in Texas. I've never been to a protest. I mean, I never even had the chance to really be in one. I didn't follow the news in my 30s. I was just a waitress and partied, frankly. When I didn't work, I was hanging out with the other waitresses and cooks and stuff, and that's what I did. It wasn't until my 40s when I started settling down a little more, that I would peek at the news and stuff. And I never watched the news in my 20s. Yeah, the protesters should have just gone home. I mean, was that yesterday? I don't know. Oh, come on already. So
in the past few minutes.
So when was that? I don't see a date. Was it just the other day? Hmm. I would visit more often, but I have an extremely political mind and am very involved with government policies. Those shape how the world works through gaslighting the public. That is not discussed here. Yeah, I mean, I get kind of like, I don't know how much, politics I can even discuss. Yeah. All right. Well, that's really sad about Indigenous women. Now, this story was really intense. Like I said, these come up in my email on People True Crime. Some of them are recent, or a week ago, or a month ago, or 25 years ago. This one, is about a woman who survived a kidnapping when she was 20 years old. She was an heiress of what, I can't remember, but I'll get to that. And she was buried alive. Buried alive. And what she did, right, to stay alive and whatnot. Okay, so this happened in 2000. It looks like it happened in the 60s. Why does it say 2018? Well, maybe that's 1968. Okay. Barbara Mackle's 1968 kidnapping and being buried alive for 3 days. She said, I screamed and screamed. Barbara Mackle's 1968 kidnapping led an FBI search party to frantically dig to find her in a wooded area north of Atlanta. Okay, here's a picture of her. I mean, what's she laying in? It says kidnapped on there. She's standing up in front. It looks like she's laying on something. See? Barbara Mackle. She was on a hill, Seymour? May not have been Texas Fort Wayne PD. She was the best girlfriend ever. 2020 is the issue I speak on. Buried alive. Yeah. It's most people's worst nightmare being buried alive and left for dead. And on December 17, 1968, that nightmare came true for Barbara Jane Mackle, a 20-year-old college student and heiress to her family's Florida Housing Development Company. Against all odds, the Emory University student survived the kidnapping and was back home with her family by the time Christmas came 8 days later. Meanwhile, her kidnappers, an escaped ex-convict and a graduate student studying marine biology, nearly got away with the crime and $500,000 ransom paid by Barbara's father, Robert Mackle. More than 50 years after Time magazine first detailed the frantic FBI search that uncovered the tomb Barbara was trapped inside in a rural part of Georgia, People magazine is looking back at the harrowing kidnapping and the hunt for an heiress gone missing. She dug herself out? I know, Sean B. It sounds absolutely terrifying. This is the frickin' creep that did it to her. Gary Stephen Christ. The kidnapping. A week before Christmas, Barbara felt ill in class and called her mother to come pick her up early for the university's upcoming holiday break. Time magazine reported Barbara and her mother, Jane Mackle, booked a room at a nearby motel where they planned to stay before making the trip home, according to the Coastal Breeze News. But a knock at the door at 4 a.m. changed everything. Now, I was wondering why they opened it, but see, these people said they were detectives or something. Outside their door were two people, one of whom identified himself as a detective. They said they were there because Barbara's boyfriend, Stuart Woodward, had been in a car accident. According to Coastal Breeze News, when Jane opened the door, a masked man with a shotgun and a smaller woman in a ski mask burst through, knocked her out with chloroform, and then bound her by her hands and feet. Her daughter Barbara, meanwhile, was grabbed by the strangers and put into their car. I'm going to have nightmares tonight. Jane was able to free herself and call the police not long after, but by that time, Barbara was already being transported 30 miles north of Atlanta by her kidnappers. The escaped convict, Gary Stephen Christ, and his accomplice, Ruth Eisman Shear, they were taking Barbara to bury her alive. A hefty ransom. In an interview with UPI 20 years after the kidnapping, Chris' former parole officer, Tommy Morris, suggested that the prison escapee kidnapped Barbara and buried her alive not for the $500,000 ransom he and Eisenman Shire demanded from the Mackle family, but for the challenge of keeping their victim alive underground. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Nevertheless, Christ and Eisman Shire demanded $500,000 from Mackle's family, who were heads of the Deltona Corp, a Florida-based development company that was reportedly worth $65 million at the time Barbara was taken in 1968. In a remote area in Gwinnett County, Georgia, Barbara's kidnappers placed her inside a coffin-like box with two flexible air tubes, an allotment of food, water, and sedatives, among other things she needed to survive. Christ and Eisenman Shire buried the heiress 1.5 feet under the soil, according to Time, where she remained for 3.5 days until an FBI search team found her. I don't want my daughter to hear this, so I'm going to lower my voice a little bit because she heard me talking about a cyclone last night, so I know. He was looking for a rich, tough-minded female, someone who could stand up to the trauma of being buried alive. Barbara Jane Mackle fit that profile. Barbara remained thick-skinned, she recounted in her 1971 book, 83 Hours Till Dawn. I screamed and screamed, Barbara recalled, according to UPI and ABC News. The sound of the dirt got farther and farther away. Finally, I couldn't hear anything above. I screamed for a long time after that. Good grief. The 20-year-old was said to have replayed visions of the upcoming Christmas morning with her family to remain focused on surviving. Wow. And this is the call her what she is, effing bitch, that was with him, had the ski mask on, Ruth Eisenman Shire. Oof. Barbara's rescue. Barbara's location was discovered after Christ and Eisenman Sheaf, I thought it was Shire, successfully received the $500,000 ransom from Barbara's family and telephoned the FBI, giving them rough coordinates for where to find her. Using clues from an initial botched ransom handoff, when Christ and Eisenman Shire fled the scene and abandoned their car, police were able to discover an alias Christ had been using, George D. Deacon, and began putting the pieces together. Christ was captured off the coast of Florida in a speedboat he purchased with some of the ransom money, while this Eisenman Shire was arrested months later after giving her fingerprints for a background check at a hospital in Oklahoma, where she applied for a job. Eisenman Shire was deported back to Honduras, where she was from, while Christ was sentenced to life in prison, according to UPI. But 10 years later, Christ was released on parole and decades later landed a job as a licensed general practitioner in Indiana, according to ABC News. You've got to be kidding. Yeah, what an idiot she was. And he landed a job as a licensed general practitioner in Indiana 10 years later, you guys. The Mackle family maintained that Barbara remained relatively unfazed by the trying ordeal, though she rarely made public appearances in the decades after. Barbara later married and became a mother, living in Atlanta. I'm surprised she could even live in the state where she was buried, because remember, she was from Florida. I don't know, okay, so that's just unreal. This is her book, 83 Hours Till Dawn. That's her book, you guys. In collaboration with Jean Miller. Yeah, I just couldn't feel safe again. There's no way. Oh, gosh. All right. Now, here's another one. This one's from 1985. Her name is Missy Avila. And her friends mourned the teen's suspicious drowning. with her mother, and then they were all accused of murdering her out of jealousy. And there's been other stories of this kind of stuff. I wonder, no, there was one in like the 2000s where this high school student was lured out where she thought she was going to party on some rocks and buy some water with friends. And the women went after her and drowned her. I mean, um, oh gosh, really? Skylar Niece case 20 miles from you in West Virginia. They took her to Pennsylvania and oh my gosh. There have been home invasion robberies around here, Genevieve. Genevieve, where are you again? I'm sorry, I can't remember. Are you in California or New York? No, that's Mary Jane. You have a metal bat by the door. I've taught my kids. Hi, Aussie True Crime. Polsbo, Washington. Oh, God. Don't answer the door. I mean, even when there's a knock and Amazon leaves something like they left my son's chair at the door, I waited till they were gone and I only opened it, honestly. It was daytime and I wasn't here alone. But how many parents are like, come in, come in? And you teach your kids that. Come in, you know. Oh my gosh, Mary Jane, you've been through 2 home invasions? Oh, God. Hi, Aussie True Crime. How you doing? She has a channel too, you guys. Aussie True Crime. Why isn't this working? Uh, I'm going to do this one and then end my live, you guys. It's been almost 2 hours. Hmm. Oh, right. Not New York City. Did I say that? I didn't mean that. Okay. Hmm. Why isn't this coming up? Oh, I need to put more. That's why. I need to put... What's wrong with this thing? Jeez. Hmm. Wow. Why isn't this working? My iPad's frozen. Yeah, this is just, this is what I'm dealing with over and over again. Now I have a headache. So, I'm going to restart, and if I can't pull it up, I'm just going to end my live. Out of memory space, I don't know. It could be the internet, but it's working okay here. My sound isn't even crackling, right? Hi, Keith Yutzi. Yeah, technical difficulties. Let's see. I'm just typing in Missy Avila murder in 1985. Oh, there it is. I had a feeling. Okay, so this is the girl. Poor thing. Not her, but her. That's the girl, Missy Avila. And she, oops. Okay, these are all images of Missy Avila. I think that's how I had my hair in 1985. Just the kind of put the rollers in, with it wet and the whatchamacallits and the bobby pins, and there you go. All ready the next day. All right, so oh my God. Karen Severson, Murdered, her childhood best friend, Michelle Missy Avila, with accomplice Laura Doyle, slashed her hair off and hid her body in a forest river. Now, 47, a woman who served 21 years in prison after killing her best friend has revealed how she went to her funeral so she would not be suspected. Is that her? Yeah, that's her. The short hair. She's the one that did it. Hope she has a rotten life, even though she spent some time in prison, 21 years. It's not enough time. Right? I mean, come on already. Now, 47, the killer, who was 22 at the time, has spoken frankly about the savage attack and revealed how she turned from protector to persecutor. She said she did not intend to kill Missy, who she had known since she was 7, and used to stick up for her until they drifted apart. She said she was only planning to bully her when things got out of hand. She said, I only meant to torment Missy. Looking back, I was jealous of Missy. Oh, that's her. Okay. So I believe that one's Missy, and that's what's her face. It says right there, Karen Severson with childhood best friend. See? They were really best friends. Describing the first time she met her victim when they were age 7, she said Missy was out in the street looking for her lost cat. She was a sweet-looking girl with long auburn hair and green eyes. I helped her look for it. She had just moved into the street, and she was my new neighbor. She went on, we were very similar at that age. We loved dressing up our Barbies and playing in the sunshine, but she said things were not always easy for Miss Avila. Missy would get picked on a lot at school, she said. I don't know why. Maybe people were jealous of her pretty looks. But I stood up for her. She called me her bodyguard after that. Oh my God. She said as the girls got older, they grew apart, and age 14, Severson fell pregnant. She said she thinks this led to her and her former friend drifting apart, especially when she dropped out of school to look after her baby. She said once I would have defended her, but now I joined in the cruelty. Doyle claims she saw Missy kissing her boyfriend and the pair confronted her. Maybe that's not even true. Sometimes people make up stuff, right? Just to start a fight. On October, Doyle arranged to meet Missy at Colby Canyon in Angeles National Park. Severson said Doyle picked her victim up in her car and drove to the woods. At Colby Canyon, they headed through the forest to the stream. Severson said Missy probably thought it would be like old times, but Laura went mad screaming at her. She said Missy died. Missy's grandma told me her body had been found. She continued, hikers had come across the body in the stream. She told me she was face down with a 100-pound log on top of her. I felt sick. Severson said she tried to numb the pain with alcohol. The victim's body was found in Angeles National Park in California, USA, by hikers in October 1985, 3 days after she was reported missing. Her hair had been slashed off. She was face down in a stream. The 100-pound log prevented her from moving. After Missy's body was found, the pair consoled her family, even attending her funeral, but a tip-off from a friend they had confided in saw them being jailed. I felt like I had an obligation to Missy's family after what I did. As Missy's mother grieved, I consoled her. I felt like I had an obligation to Missy's family after what I did. I wanted to look after them. What a weirdo. But she admitted she also had ulterior motives for helping. She said, I also wanted to know how the police investigation was going. I wanted to know who the suspects were and what evidence they found. Severson and her co-defendant, who was also 22, were convicted of second-degree murder at Pasadena Superior Court in March of 1990. Both Severson and Doyle of Arleta, Los Angeles, were convicted of second-degree murder. They were both sentenced to a minimum of 15 years in prison and were released in 2011. Severson, who is not being paid for speaking out, said after more than 2 years in California Institution for Women in Corona, she was ashamed of her actions. She now tours schools and encourages young people not to act like she did. Well, that's kind of shocking. She said, I don't want bullies to do what I did. I want them to stop before that happens. Severson, who now works in telesales and has released an ebook memoir, It's My Life, I Lived It, about the MURDER. It's My Life, I Lived It, about the MURDER, said, I want to save other people from being bullied and doing the bullying like I was. I don't feel sorry for her, and I really don't even care that she's going to schools. Do you guys? Yeah, exactly, Keith. She should have been there for her friend instead of trying to hurt her or be jealous of her. I mean, she should feel guilty, but she should be suffering, not going around effing schools. I mean, I understand what she's doing is a good thing, and it actually really is, but her ass should be in prison. You know, the fear they caused her, she lost her life. Okay, I've never read the full story and I'm pissed. Yes. Missy's mother, Irene Avila, explained her desperate fight to stop Severson earning from her crime. Well, anyway, this is her. This is the mother. That poor woman. Oh, gosh. All right. Well, yeah. Gee. She scalped her friend. Yeah. It's freaking disgusting. Okay, so there we go. I hope we all don't have bad dreams. Stay safe, and I should see you tomorrow. I'm trying to stay on task and do a live each night. I'm super happy to see every single one of you here. And yeah, please hit the like. Please subscribe if you're willing to. And help me get to that, my goal of 3,000. I'm inching my way there slowly but surely. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye for now.